What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Star Wars Celebration still playing out as I'm recording this episode. There have been lots of fun reveals, including a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. Saw some new books. We got some more exciting TV drops. And of course, we got a ton of figure reveals. Last episode where I focused and featured Star Wars, I wasn't happy. I was complaining that the Star Wars team was once again failing to capitalize on what is likely to be a major hit, and there wasn't one figure for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they proved me wrong a few days later when Ewan McGregor showed his Jedi Wanderer version of the Star Wars Black Series Obi-Wan on Jimmy Kimmel. Weird reveal location. I know it's, hey, let's get people hyped. I don't think we need to show any more figure reveals on talk shows. No one's ever as excited as the fan community. We just want to see the figure. And these talk shows are more like, ha, look at your dumb figure. So it's just a weird presentation. Thankfully, that was not the case with this Jedi Wanderer Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. And as I watched the episode, I'm going to warn you right now, I may fall into a few spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and you want to go in totally fresh and totally free of any, like, I knew so-and-so was going to show up, pause this episode, come back after you watch these first two episodes. After your mind is fully blown, come back here and I'll break down all the figures. And I'm sure, like me, you had a long, lengthy list of figures that you wanted to see after just two episodes. So really excited about how the series started off, and seeing the Jedi Wanderer figure had me excited. I think unlike some other characters like Mark Hamill, like some of his other figures, Hayden Christensen, they have totally nailed Ewan McGregor's likeness. And you've seen that back from the Phantom Menace figures, Attack of the Clones, that Target exclusive Clone Wars, which is such a great looking figure. And now with the Jedi Wanderer version, the post Clone Wars version. And it looks great too. It's got that tunic, he's got his long pants, his boots. He's not looking like a Jedi anymore, but he's still got that hooded cloak. And I was so happy to see a soft goods inclusion here, because he's wearing that so much for the first two episodes, and we really needed that with the figure. So I'm really happy to see that. He's got his lightsaber, and he also has another accessory, which I was a little bit surprised came with him and not with a inevitable Princess Leia figure. It's Lola, Leia's droid, and it attaches through one of those little clips, and it's got the plastic stand. I never really buy into that visual illusion, because it's still like a white-esque material, so you can see it. It's one of those deals you really need a white backdrop to fade it out and get the full illusion that she's hovering and flying around, because otherwise it just looks like a white plastic tip holding on to Obi-Wan's finger. But anyway, Lola looks great for that scale. She actually comes with her own accessory, the buzzsaw she used to free Princess Leia, and really nice inclusion. That's what we need more of in Black Series. Hey, let's just throw in random accessories. And even though it may not make sense in this case, at least we're getting another accessory. So that's good. Good stuff, Hasbro. And then we got to see another reveal before Star Wars Celebration, Reva, the third sister. And she's been a character that's very prominently featured on many of the trailers that we've seen of Obi-Wan Kenobi so far. And I think this is another great likeness, really captures the look of Moses Ingram, and her outfit looks great in figure form. I thought they did a really good job with it. I am very curious on that articulation, because as we saw in Kenobi, Reva is running around. She's doing parkour over rooftops. I mean, she's getting it. She's totally active. She's not like a standstill kind of duelist. So I'm hoping she has a ton of articulation that's useful, that we can put her in some of these cool poses, because that's really going to be key for her. But again, she looks great. I almost wish they could have included an alternate portrait. As we know, these prices are going up. Alternate portraits would be a great way to show some added value to the figures. And in her case, it would really be good to have more of a mad expression where she's just on the hunt for Obi-Wan and she's not taking it anymore. She's yelling, raging out like, where are you? He's going to find you. And so I thought the figure was great, but I wish we could have thrown in one more accessory just to add in some more hey, here's the reason these figure prices are going up. But she's got her saber. You can attach the blades, and it's got the Darth Maul dual bladed look to it, and it's got that Inquisitor frame or Inquisitor hilt with the circle deal, and I think it looks cool for her. And I don't know, I just like Reva, and I thought she was a really good addition. I thought this figure looks good, but as you know, black figures outside of Mace Windu do not sell, so I just have to be patient and wait. Much like the General Lando figure, she'll be $8 before I know it. So I just have to hold off and not pay $25 just yet, because she's going to be way cheaper down the road, despite being a really good figure. Next up, the first of the ones we saw from Star Wars Celebration, from Hasbro's actual panel at Star Wars Celebration, was the Grand Inquisitor. And this figure looks really dorky, but it's not because the figure looks dorky, it's just because of the design in the show, where it's like, this doesn't really look like that cool sinister villain from Rebels, and we find out why that is not the case. And I'm happy with that, because the character design just didn't look great. And I really don't know if I need to get a figure who's literally only going to be on for 2 episodes or like 20 minutes for the entire thing. I guess if I wanted to set up a cool Grand Inquisitor's setup or an Inquisitor's display, I'd need him. But I think he's another one I'm going to hold off for a long time, because he's really irrelevant, as we saw in that second episode. But I thought they did a pretty decent job. Maybe they could have done a little bit more with the head, give him some more personality, because his expression is kind of basic too. And he really would have benefited from something interesting with his head sculpt. Saber's there, his design looks cool, but he's going to be somebody that I'm waiting a long time to actually get. So next up is a figure that I thought was really cool and is a great Star Wars character design. It's the fifth brother, played by my man Han from Fast and Furious. So we got all this cool stuff going on. Again, like Reva, I think he would have benefited from another portrait, or an additional portrait, where we see those teeth. We get that expression from him, because much like Reva, he would look really cool with that angry expression while he's in a duel. So really nice design though. Got the helmet going. I just thought his elements with his costume make for a really nice looking figure, and he doesn't have a skirt piece that's going to obstruct his articulation. So really excited about this guy, and I will be getting him probably as soon as I see him. Hopefully the Target has some sales, so I can take advantage and grab him without having to pay $25 for him. Next up is the fourth sister, and she didn't have a big speaking role in either episode, but she looked cool. And I think sometimes with figures, all we need is that they look cool, and I think she really covers the bill on that one. And kind of a sleeker design than some of the other Inquisitors. Got the saber, of course, but she looks cool, and I think that works. Again, I'm going to hate paying $25 just as the default for figures going forward. And I like, for sure, I would feel, hey, $23 is not bad for these guys. That extra $2, I don't know what it is in my head, but it's just like this mental gap where it's like, can't I wait for a sale? But she looks good. So right away, we get 4 Inquisitors and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's a great start to this line, the subset in the Star Wars Black Series universe. So of course, I started going, well, who's next? Who else do I want to see? Clearly, 10-year-old Leia. I mean, we got to get her. She was prominent in the first 2 episodes. I think, unlike a lot of shows, I don't mind if Obi-Wan Kenobi does a little, well, let's focus on the cute kids, because we know these cute kids are super important in Star Wars. So she had a big role. We saw Luke Skywalker from a distance. I assume we'll actually hear him talking and doing more mischief instead of doing anything that Uncle Owen wants him to do on that moisture farm. But really nice seeing Princess Leia so prominently featured. And if we've got her, it's well past time to get a Bail Organa figure. Whether that's in this Obi-Wan Kenobi line or anything. But we need him. He's an odd omission at this point, and we really need to get Jimmy Smits in figure form in this line. And yeah, because he's so essential to so much of the saga at this point that we kind of need his figure yesterday. But this is a great start for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm really feeling encouraged that Hasbro is not going to be, oh, here's Obi-Wan in this outfit and here's him in this. And I don't think I would mind seeing Obi-Wan and Princess Leia in their disguised looks, but there are other characters like Hajjaj, who's cool, the Jedi that Obi-Wan, the Jedi now who was trying to get Obi-Wan to come back to his glory days, and he's like, nah, kid, I don't know who you're talking about. My name's Ben. Here's another one. There are lots of figures. Flea's character. So that's like 4 more that we get, like a whole other wave just based off of 2 episodes. We know there are going to be more figures, more characters who are going to be showing up over the course of these next few episodes. But I can't wait. I think it's a great start for Obi-Wan Kenobi from Hasbro. So this is a good way to turn the corner because people are excited about Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. Here are figures. Unlike back in the days where the movies were coming out and the figures would be on shelves 2 months before, at the very least, we have prototypes. We're seeing that, hey, they are in the works. It's not going to be a thing where 2 years later, hey, here's characters from Obi-Wan Season 1 that we never got around to because we didn't realize the show would be popular. Trust me, I'm a Jedi. I know what I'm talking about with this. So good start. Looking forward to seeing these figures. I'm assuming 2023 is just the super generous estimate, and we're actually going to see these figures sooner. Hopefully I'll have my Jedi Wanderer Obi-Wan Kenobi figure by the end of the year. But anyway, great start. So they moved on to show a few more Black Series figures. I'm not collecting vintage collections anymore, so I'm not going to break those down. But I thought they had some really cool reveals, one of which had me a little bit annoyed. But I'll talk about that way later. So we got a Jon Favreau Paz Vizsla figure. I thought this was cool. We've already seen a Dave Filoni. They had a really nice interaction during their panel where they talked about Dave's thinking his figure was going to be a peg warmer. I think it's cool. I actually want him along with the Filoni figure just because these are guys that saved Star Wars for me. And this was a Celebration exclusive. I hope and assume that means he'll be available on Hasbro Pulse at some later date. But I'd love to get a figure of him and Filoni, have them with their helmets off and just kind of chilling, even though it's going to be a super extra bonus price because of the exclusive nature. I think it's cool and it's worth it to get these guys in figure form. So that's a cool one. And then we thankfully didn't get overwhelmed by Mandalorian product for I think the first time in any one of these Hasbro Star Wars series presentations. So we just got one more. Magistrate Grief Karga. And this is a figure that I thought we were going to see eventually because it's a much different look from his season 1 attire. Of course, the main thing that's just still annoying me is we're not going to get a Cara Dune and similar season 2 look. I just think it's such a whack deal that, you know, Hasbro, Disney's upset with comments Gina Carano made, and then the fan base has to suffer because I'm not buying a Gina Carano figure. I'm not buying a Carl Weathers figure necessarily, but I'm buying these characters, and I think that we're getting screwed because we don't get any more figures of a character that we like, regardless of what we think about the person behind the scenes. So, small rant over. Still more Mandalorian figures to come, but we only saw these 2, so that was encouraging. Maybe it makes me think that Hasbro is starting to finally get the message that there's so much more than just Mando. Alright, well that's a good start. And then also taking advantage of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we got a Ralph McQuarrie prototype, original design version of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. I think this is a really sensible time to release this pack because we're in the middle of Obi-Wan Kenobi love and this makes sense. I'm not so sure I'm going to buy these, but I think for people who've been getting these McQuarrie designs of Star Wars figures, this is a really nice addition. And if you missed out, you got a Darth Vader, you got Obi-Wan in one set. I think that's cool, and I think these figures almost look different enough that you could make them a separate shelf and just be like, hey, this is my cool shelf of Ralph McQuarrie figures. So, nice addition, 2-pack, shudder to see the price. Like everything else that they showed, these will be available June 1st, so you can't pre-order them right now. I'll put those pre-order links down once they become available. So then we move on to a few more Black Series reveals. And this is a character that has been so overdue. Aayla Secura. And we're getting her from her Attack of the Clones look. And I don't know if her look changed that much from Clones to Revenge of the Sith. Anyway, she's a character that's really been needed and nice to finally get her in the Black Series. And I think the figure looks okay. I'm not quite sure about that head sculpt though. For whatever reason, it's throwing me off. But I think the rest of her looks great. And I'm looking forward to adding her and hopefully more of the Jedi from Clones and Sith and Clone Wars because bring them all to me into my shelf. But yeah, really excited to get her. Next up, we get a figure that I have been very much anticipating ever since I jealously saw the one they revealed for the Vintage Collection. It is Clone Wars Season 7 version Darth Maul. And this guy was such a huge force character in Clone Wars. And he was a character like, what? This is so absurd. How are you bringing Darth Maul back? And then I watched Clone Wars and like, it's amazing. So great. More figures of Darth Maul, please. And so this is him where he's just the ruler of Mandalore and he's about to fight Ahsoka. And we get that really great movie quality duel between her and Ahsoka, between him and Ahsoka. And this figure looks phenomenal. He's got the butterfly shoulders so he can do all kinds of cool poses. I can't wait to actually match him up with my Ahsoka from Walmart that I tracked down. And I was so excited to finally get her onto my shelf. But yeah, this is really cool. And I can actually have those Maul loyalists flanking him. It's going to be really cool. And I need more Mandalorians from Clone Wars. Not so much from the Mandalorian, but really cool looking figure. Happy to see him. We got a new Gaming Grace figure, and of course it has zero to do with a figure, a character that we really want to see, a new unique character. It's yet another grunt. It's the Riot Gear Stormtrooper, and I'm pretty sure this is from Fallen Order Survivor, so it's like great, but they're Fallen Order characters that I'd much rather see characters with names and not just more grunts. But for those of you who love those, that's a cool addition. The Riot Stormtrooper looks cool. Got the big shield, energy effects, lots of accessories there. Nice looking figure, but again, I want named characters from these video games, from the Gaming Grace line. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the one Vintage Collection figure I want to talk about. It was a pipeline reveal. It's Star Killer. And again, just like I was complaining about how we don't get named characters in the Black Series line. We're getting him in his Vintage Collection glory. And I'm really hoping it doesn't take too long because I feel like it's kind of unfair. There are collectors who get Black Series. There are collectors who get Vintage Collection. I think there's now a smaller section of the population that's collecting these figures that's getting both, but I don't understand why we have to wait. I mean, we got a Vintage Collection pipeline of Star Killer coming. Why not say, hey, we got this Star Killer coming for Black Series 2? That way everybody who collects either line is happy, and you know, I think it works because people who get just Black Series get their Star Killer. People who get Vintage Collection get their Star Killer. Such a weird timing issue with these lines. Then they did have a few pipeline reveals on the Black Series. And this is cool because it actually addresses what I was talking about. So we got two characters from Knights of the Old Republic. I'm a PlayStation guy, so I've never played these games. And I'm really looking forward to them actually coming over so I can experience all the fun, all these cool characters that people who played Xbox have been enjoying for years. So now we're getting Bastilia Shan and Darth Malik. Those should be cool characters just based off of the designs I've seen. They look great, and I think they'll come off really nice in 6-inch Black Series form. That's a really good sign. Now I'm going to make one small minor complaint. There was a huge panel, lots of fans excited about Jedi High Republic, and there was a massive amount of characters they had from it. I watched until I was like, this is starting to dip into spoiler territory since it sounds so interesting, and you know, I'm kind of like into it. Let me read all the books and comics about it. But there was no mention of these characters, and I think this is one of these areas where Hasbro's still kind of missing being right at the forefront of something that people, Star Wars fans, are excited about. You have some Jedi High Republic characters in there. It's like, oh, guys like me would go, okay, let me read these things. And I think they're still missing that synergy to be right on top of something that's popular and getting it while people have their attention focused on it. This would have been a nice way to just introduce one or two characters from this line and get people invested and go, hey, I want more of these characters. So I don't have a full list because I haven't read it, but I think that would have been a good reveal. Just one character to kind of tease, hey, we know this exists in the Star Wars universe. We're going to tackle this at some point, but here's just the start of it. So that was this. I thought that Hasbro did a pretty decent job with their reveals. They showed at least one HasLab. It's Reva's lightsaber. I'm not quite sure how the funding for this is going to go. I don't know what kind of demand it's going to be for her lightsaber, but I thought it was a odd choice. They did not show a figure one now. And I think we're kind of getting to the point where they should be readying their presentations to sell us on these HasLab projects. And of course, it is a dogfight with Hasbro lines. You've got Star Wars, you've got Power Rangers, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends. So there's a bunch. And I always feel like the ones who get there first get collectors with limited crowdsourced budgets. Get to that first. And Star Wars Celebration seems like it would have been a really good time to show a Black Series and a Vintage Collection offering. Like I said before, I'm wondering if the Bib Fortuna setup with Jabba's Palace was, hey, we give up. We're not going to try to do a Vintage Collection HasLab project this year. This is that. I'm still thinking we still need one for the Black Series, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I thought it was a pretty good panel. Lots of good reveals. Very much interested in all but one of those Obi-Wan Kenobi figures. And I think they've got lots of offerings to give us going forward. But this is a good start. Seeing Ayla, seeing Grief was good. And showing that, hey, we got some of these characters that you've wanted, like Darth Maul, finally knocked out, is encouraging. They didn't show any army builders for the Black Series, which is probably for the best. If you're going to charge $25 to $30 for figures, you'd probably just be better suited doing other figures at this point. So anyway, I thought it was a good presentation. Let me know what you guys thought. Was there any figures from this Black Series reveals that you're going to grab? And which ones from Obi-Wan Kenobi do you want to see? Thank you so much for watching. As always, this episode of Laos Figure Files has been filed.